named your warship? Snuggle Muffin? The question hung in the air like a badly aimed plasma grenade. Captain Zarn of the Glorvax Armada blinked all 6 of his eyes, just to make sure he wasn't experiencing a full-brain hallucination. Across the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Lee from Earth beamed with the kind of pride normally reserved for parents at spelling bees. Yup, USS Snuggle Muffin, commissioned last spring, armed with dual-photon cannons and a railgun named Sir Pew-Pewington. Silence. You could hear a photon pin drop. Zarn slowly turned his head to the Grand Arbiter of Norgan Prime, who was quietly hyperventilating into a bag made of recycled meteor dust. The Arbiter looked at Zarn with sheer terror in his 12 pupils, as if to say, don't provoke them. They're clearly unstable. See, the Glorvax had declared war on Earth 2 days ago. Not out of rage. Not even out of conquest. It was mostly bureaucratic. The humans had named a newly discovered planet Steve. The planet already belonged to the Glorvax, and its official designation was X-89 Zeta, an honorable name passed down from their ancestors. But the humans? Oh no, they didn't ask. They just landed, planted a flag made of denim, and wrote, "Welcome to Steve," in solar-powered neon letters visible from orbit. That was considered a grave insult. Zarn stood up during the council meeting and thundered, "You dare rename a sacred Glorvax world?" Ambassador Lee just blinked. "Oh, sorry, we didn't know it had a name. Honestly, we thought it looked like a Steve. The humans named things based on vibes." And if that wasn't enough to make every alien in the room uncomfortable, Earth's delegation showed up with mugs labeled, "Don't talk to me until I've colonized a moon." Zarn had studied Earth culture extensively. They were a relatively young species, only a few millennia into spaceflight. Statistically, they should have been easily intimidated. But everything he'd read, nothing had prepared him for this. He'd read about their war heroes. Brave, yes. Smart, occasionally. But mostly, weird. One soldier led an entire assault by yelling, "YOLO!" and now had a statue on Mars. Another named his mech suit Barbara after his mother-in-law. Barbara now held the single highest kill count in 3 systems. To the Glorvax, this wasn't bravery. It was chaotic lunacy. And worst of all, it kept working. Zarn sat back down, trying to breathe through his gills. "Tell me again, why do you name everything?" Ambassador Lee tilted his head. "Why not? Naming stuff makes it feel like ours, or at least like a buddy. You can't be scared of a quantum destabilizer if it's named Fluffy." He paused. "Also, our AI responds better when it feels loved." Zarn blinked again. "Your AI systems require emotional attachment?" "Oh yeah, our last defense satellite went rogue because someone forgot its birthday." One alien in the corner gasped. Zarn began to feel faint. Then came the moment that would go down in Council history forever. Ambassador Lee stood, pulled out a small hollow device, and with a dramatic flick of his wrist, activated a recording. A human battleship hovered on screen. Its hull painted with cartoon strawberries, the words "Snuggle Muffin" etched in cursive on the side, and beneath it a motto in bold, "Peace through overwhelming awkwardness." The ship then powered up its weapons, vaporized a rogue asteroid, and immediately played the Earth song, "I Will Survive." Half the council screamed. One Norgan fainted. Zarn could only stare. Do all your ships do that?" Lee smiled. "Well, Boomer McKaboomface plays ABBA. Depends on the captain." At that precise moment, Zarn began to realize something terrifying. Humans weren't just unpredictable. They were deliberately unpredictable. They waged psychological warfare through absurdity. They defied expectations with reckless optimism. They made entire fleets retreat with glitter. And now, Zarn had just declared war on them. He swallowed hard. "How many ships do you have?" Lee didn't even flinch. "Depends. Are we counting inflatable decoys, or just the ones piloted by raccoons in exosuits?" Zarn stood up, and for the first time in a decade, he felt the chill of real fear. He looked around at the rest of the council and whispered, "We may have made a terrible mistake." From the back, someone muttered, "We should have just let them keep Steve." The chamber fell silent again. And somewhere in the orbit of a small moon named Bob, a satellite named Karen quietly woke up and asked to speak to the manager. The plan was simple. Well, relatively simple. by Glorvax military standards, which included 5 backup doomsday devices, a cloak made of black hole fragments, and a 12-point PowerPoint presentation titled How to Conquer Earth in Under an Hour. Captain Zarn had spent 2 sleepless rotations perfecting every detail. Stealth approach, lunar base neutralization, capturing Earth's moon as a show of force. Quick, clean, efficient. The Glorvax way. What Zarn didn't account for was a ship named Oopsie Daisy. It wasn't even supposed to be there. According to intercepted Earth transmissions, Oopsie Daisy was on a training exercise. In Earth terms, that meant half the crew were rookies, one was on probation for accidentally microwaving a plasma grenade, and the commanding officer was Lieutenant Linda Park, whose official military file included the words excessive optimism and improvised karaoke mid-combat. And yet, somehow, it was Oopsie Daisy that stumbled, literally, into the heart of Zarn's cloaked formation and accidentally triggered a space-wide panic that would forever be known in Glorvax history as the Hug of Death. Here's what happened. At precisely 0400 Earth Standard Time, Oopsie Daisy lost navigation control. Not due to sabotage, not due to enemy interference, because Ensign Johnson spilled soda on the main console. Again. The ship began drifting, sideways, directly toward a Glorvax destroyer, unaware, completely, blissfully unaware. Inside the Glorvax vessel, alarms screamed, shields went up, weapons charged. Zarn's second-in-command, Commander Fleas, shouted, "They're charging us!" Zarn stared at the screen. That can't be a real tactic. They're tilting. But they're gaining speed. They must be attempting a ramming maneuver. No one rams with their kitchen module facing forward. But it was too late. Oopsie Daisy, still rotating gently, bonked the Glorvax ship right in the hull, causing a catastrophic feedback loop in the destroyer's graviton core. One puff of smoke, then poof, gone. Instant vaporization. Inside Oopsie Daisy, the humans all screamed, mostly because the fridge had exploded and someone's lunch, tuna sandwich, extra onions, was now floating through the air in zero gravity. "What was that?" Linda yelled, holding onto a dangling cable. Johnson looked up, holding a dripping soda bottle. "I think we hit a space rock?" From his command ship, Zarn watched in horror as his most advanced warship was accidentally hugged to death by a vessel painted in pink daisies and smiley faces. Then it got worse. Another Glorvax cruiser moved to intercept the humans. It hailed them with a standard warning message. "You have attacked a Glorvax warship. Surrender immediately." Oopsie Daisy responded by playing a music file titled "Oops, I Did It Again" at full blast. Zarn stared at the screen. I don't understand. Is that a war anthem? Is that how they communicate?" Commander Fleas was trembling. "Should we surrender? We are the invaders, and they're dancing." On screen, the human crew were floating upside down, clapping off beat, while Johnson attempted the moonwalk in magnetic boots, and someone in the back yelled, "This is just like space camp." By the end of the hour, Oopsie Daisy had accidentally drifted into 2 more Glorvax ships, causing mild explosions and one unexpected self-destruct sequence. Though that was mostly the Glorvax's fault, since their backup button was right next to the coffee dispenser. Zarn called for a full retreat. Not because of tactical loss, not because of weaponry, but because none of this made sense. They're either brilliant beyond comprehension or complete idiots. Zarn muttered. Commander Fleas blinked. Permission to suggest both? Zarn didn't answer. He was too busy watching a human crew member, one with a mullet and sunglasses, attach a sticky note to the viewport of Oopsie Daisy. The note read, "Sorry about that. Are bad." Zarn closed his eyes. "We are not at war with warriors. We are at war with a species that weaponizes social awkwardness." And then came the broadcast. A short clip sent out to all nearby systems, likely by accident. It was a video diary entry by Johnson. Day 3 on Oopsie Daisy. Accidentally destroyed 3 enemy ships. Linda made lasagna. I think I have space allergies. Also, shout out to Mom. Zarn's tentacles dropped limply to his sides. They're documenting their casualties like it's a cooking show. He leaned over to the communications officer. "Send word to High Command. We need to reconsider this invasion." "Under what reason, sir?" Zarn's voice cracked. "Because I think we just declared war on the galaxy's most cheerful nightmare." Captain Zarn sat alone in the command chamber, staring at the tactical map with the hollow eyes of someone who'd just seen a clown juggle nuclear warheads and win. Around him, the bridge crew buzzed nervously, trying to make sense of the nonsensical. Data streams, damage reports, translation logs, none of it added up. Because how could it? How do you quantify chaos wrapped in a smiley face? 3 ships gone, 0 confirmed hostilities, all by a vessel named Oopsie Daisy, whose combat strategy could be best described as, oops, we slipped. And then it got worse. An intercepted human transmission arrived, a broadcast from Earth's Central Command. Zarn ordered it played on the main screen. The message began with a man in a turtleneck sweater, seated in a swivel chair, spinning slowly for dramatic effect. Behind him was a poster of a cat hanging from a tree branch with the words, "Hang in there," written in Comic Sans. Greetings, friends and/or invaders. I'm General McClintock, but you can call me Mac. First off, super sorry about any ships we may have accidentally bumped. We were playing low-gravity hide-and-seek, and well, someone mistook your destroyer for a moon. He winked? Winked. Zarn gripped the edge of his console so hard his claws left dents in the alloy. But hey, Mac continued, cheerfully oblivious to the tension his message was causing in 12 different alien species. We believe in peace, friendship, diplomacy, and if that doesn't work, we also believe in orbital cats with laser eyes. The screen changed. Footage played of Earth's newest defense project, Operation Meow Meow Boom Boom. It was horrifying. Tiny, spherical drones shaped like cartoon cats, neon pink, with jetpacks, and each one had a mounted particle disruptor on its forehead. Zarn blinked. They made weaponized kittens? One drone in the video meowed before blowing up an asteroid, in slow motion, to the soundtrack of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Commander Fleas made a small choking sound behind him. Sir, I think we've misread their entire species. That was an understatement. Zarn had assumed, like many in the Galactic Council, that humans were reckless, emotional, short-lived creatures that stumbled into space through sheer stubbornness. What he hadn't accounted for was their ability to combine raw chaos with marketing slogans. The next footage showed a human pilot high-fiving his robot co-pilot after defeating a pirate cruiser. The robot's name? Taco 9000. Its job? Navigation and snack distribution. Then came the psychological warfare logs. Apparently, the humans had started renaming Glorvax patrol routes in the galactic net. Route 12X, now called Disco Worm Lane. Sector 9 Beta? Spaghetti Zone. Zarn whispered, "They're corrupting our maps." The Glorvax morale reports were even worse. Soldiers were starting to question reality. One lieutenant had resigned after hearing a human play the song Baby Shark on a loop during a standoff. It's not music, he'd written in his exit report. It's a spell, a repetitive rhythmic curse. And still, Earth hadn't technically fired the first shot. Everything the humans did was wrapped in plausible deniability. Oh, sorry, we thought that was debris. Oh, our AI mistook your ambassador for a cosplay enthusiast. Oh, we thought you wanted a glitter bomb. And every apology came with a fruit basket. One fleet received an inflatable unicorn with, "We cool?" written on the side. Zarn paced the deck now, talking more to himself than anyone else. They're not waging war, they're waging confusion. They disguise destruction with charm, turn every military maneuver into a prank, every weapon into a joke, every tragedy into a TikTok. Fleas stepped forward carefully. Sir, perhaps it's time we consult the council again. Zarn turned, wild-eyed. No, not yet. We must understand them, truly understand what we're dealing with. He pulled up Earth's Cultural Archive and randomly opened a file labeled Memes Volume 87, and then he saw it, a looping video of a cat knocking over a glass. The caption, Earth's Approach to Diplomacy. Zarn stared. And in that moment, he understood. This wasn't war. It was a reality show. And the Glorvax were losing, badly. He slumped into his command chair, whispering words he never thought he'd say. Fleas, we poked the wrong species. From the comms station came a new alert. The humans had sent another gift. Zarn sighed. Is it more food? The crew member hesitated. No, sir. It's, socks. Socks? Yes, with tiny UFOs and phrases like abduct me daddy stitched on the sides. Zarn rubbed his temples. They are mocking us through fashion. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Every screen on the bridge turned white, then black. Then a message appeared in bold, colorful letters. You've been snuggle hacked. Earth's cyber warfare unit had made contact. Zarn stood, frozen. No words, no screams, just the soft sound of a digital teddy bear singing a lullaby over the ship's speakers. And in that moment, the Glorvax realized they were facing the most dangerous force in the universe. A species that didn't need to mean to destroy you, to actually destroy you. Captain Zarn had never fled a battlefield before. He wasn't built for running. His species evolved under 6 times standard gravity. Flight, retreat, and even jogging were concepts studied by nerds and poets, not warriors. But now, floating helplessly in the command chamber of the Shriek of Honor, he watched the view screen as the human ship HMS Cuddle Nugget executed a triple barrel roll while blasting glitter from its side vents. Glitter. In space. It was everywhere, and somehow lethal. Zarn's voice was barely a rasp. What kind of weapon is that? No one answered. No one could answer. The last 12 minutes had redefined everything the Glorvax knew about warfare, reality, and the acceptable number of stickers on a spaceship. It began with Earth's formal peace gesture. A drone arrived at Glorvax headquarters, wearing a top hat and monocle, carrying a tray of allegedly non-lethal cupcakes. The drone introduced itself as Jeff. It bowed, recited a poem about the beauty of friendship, and exploded into 600 tiny marshmallow drones, each singing the human anthem in a different pitch. 3 Glorvax officers fainted. One tried to marry a marshmallow out of fear. And Zarn, he ordered full evacuation of Sector G4. That's when he saw it, hovering just outside the blast radius. A small round ship with blinking eyes, soft pastel armor, and a banner that read, "We Consensual Diplomacy." The ship then launched a heart-shaped EMP. It shorted out 3 dreadnoughts. The banner caught fire, slowly, romantically. By this point, Zarn had given up yelling. He just stood there, stunned, trying to remember which chapter of the Galactic War Manual covered carnival-themed tactical subversion. Fleas whispered, "Sir, permission to engage?" Zarn looked at him like he'd just asked permission to fight a tornado with a kazoo. "No, absolutely not. We are leaving, immediately." But protocol. Protocol is meaningless when you're being obliterated by stuffed animals and sarcasm. He turned to navigation. Chart a retreat path, random, erratic, the kind of path that makes no sense to them. Zigzags? Zigzags. Loops, pretend we're drunk, just go. The Shriek of Honor turned tail and fled. Full speed, no formation, no pride, just raw, panicked propulsion. Behind them, the humans didn't chase. They didn't need to. Instead, they sent a final message. Zarn watched it unfold in real time on the screen, a pre-recorded clip. A human child, no more than 7 Earth years old, standing in a field of daisies, holding a drawing. It showed 2 stick figures, one Glorvax, one human, holding hands. Below it, "I hope we can be friends." Zarn stared at it in horror. A child. They used a child's drawing as their psychological weapon. He dropped into his chair, legs giving out. "Fleas. Yes, Captain? Have we actually lost the war?" Fleas hesitated, then quietly said, "Sir, I don't think we were ever in a war. I think we were the punchline to a very long joke. A joke that they didn't get until it was far, far too late." Back on Earth, Ambassador Lee sipped his tea, lounging in his office, surrounded by glowing commendations and one particularly smug potted plant named Commander Leafy. "So," he said, flipping through the latest report, "the Glorvax have officially labeled Earth as an unclassifiable threat to galactic sanity." His assistant nodded. They've rerouted all patrol routes to avoid the solar system. Also, their soldiers are now required to undergo counseling if they so much as see a plush toy. Lee grinned. Not bad for a planet with a warship called Tickle Cannon Deluxe. And far, far above them, the Glorvax Armada drifted through the stars, scattered, silent, trying desperately to forget the horror of kindness used as a weapon, of glitter that burns through steel, of apologies backed by drone ballet, of tactical sock drops, and the final, most haunting moment of all, that one voice. Through a hacked comm channel, right before they jumped away in terror. The humans had left them with a single message. Just 6 words. Calm, cheerful, and utterly devastating. You started it, we named it.